Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the sponsors for this opportunity to present this paper. My apologies for not being there with you. Thank you. The Belt and Road Initiative is a global development strategy adopted by the Chinese government. 152 countries and international organizations in Asia, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and the Americas are involved. Belt refers to the overland routes, while the road refers to the sea routes or the 21st century maritime Silk Road. Initially, it was known as the One Belt, One Road, OBOR, but in 2016, it became shortened to the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative. The initiative was unveiled by Chinese leader Xi Jinping in September 2013. Infrastructure corridors encompass around 65 countries, primarily in Asia and Europe, but also including Oceania and East Africa. The land corridors comprise 6 corridors. The new Euro-Asian Land Bridge, which runs from Western China to Western Russia. The China-Mongolia-Russia corridor, covering northern China to the Russian Far East. China's Central Asia-West Asia corridor, which runs from Western China to Turkey. The China-Indochina Peninsula corridor, which will run from southern China to Singapore. Next, we have the Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar, BCIM economic corridor, which covers southern China to Myanmar and is officially classified as closely related to the Belt and Road Initiative. And finally, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, which goes throughout Pakistan. China has so far signed cooperational documents on the Belt and Road Initiative with 126 countries and 29 international organizations. What are the legal implications with such a large number of countries? There are bound to be cross-border issues. You need to have uniform contract models. The currency would need to be agreed upon, fundability of organizations who are involved, and of course, the choice of law and dispute resolution. Cross-border issues would cover immigration, border control, and customs. The physical infrastructure can only achieve so much if immigration and fiscal regulation are a barrier to the practice of trade. The necessity for contract models cannot be undermined. The legal risk associated with technical interfaces already mentioned is managed by aggregating the risk to a single point of responsibility and wrapping all interfaces under one provider using well-established contract models, for example, a build, operate, transfer structure. However, OBOR or BRI is not a single project. It will involve multiple projects of different types. Many essential for OBOR to operate as an integrated network, but with each one being delivered using one of many different procurement and contract models. Currency. The approach to currency risk is an often overlooked issue for projects of this scale and complexity. Projects may be funded in one currency, built in another, and operated in yet more currencies across different parts of the project, with revenues also being generated. Currency risk hedging arrangements are common but also complex. These are actually extremely notorious for disputes and therefore will require careful structuring. Fundability. The substantial reserves already made available will not be able to fund the schemes in their entirety. Additional private finance will be required. What are the risks of PPP? Many BRI projects will be additionally affected by political instability, changes in government, concerns over the sovereign country's ability to meet its obligations, or long lead times for point of inception to operation at planned capacity. All these are the risks. Therefore, a choice of law and dispute resolution clause becomes important. OBOR or BRI projects will be truly international, involving participants from many countries. Deciding which law will govern a project will be critical, not least to ensure the fundability of the venture. Both commercial and political influences may well be at stake, and such issues as certainty of law and the speed, effectiveness of enforcement procedures will be important considerations. A project of this scale is about more than just putting the building blocks in place. OBOR's success will require a broader alignment of regulations and legal principles. Harmonization of laws is necessary, with consideration of jurisdictions that are involved, so that we can remove the barriers to progress. There are different legal systems that we need to consider. For example, out of the 10 ASEAN countries' legal systems, 4 are based on common law, 3 on civil laws, and another 3 are hybrids of both common law and civil law. And this project is not only in ASEAN, but across half the world. Civil law and common law, China's legal system is most similar to the hybrids. So this represents a challenge. Can we have an ideal one legal framework to find a common ground? But it needs to be found. Could this then lie in arbitration or international commercial arbitration? Perhaps. Therefore, the dispute resolution mechanism has to be speedy to ensure foreign investor confidence. It has to yield a secondary benefit of increasing transactional efficiency and reducing transactional costs. What can help us achieve this? International commercial arbitration seems to be an answer. Why? Because there is traditional distrust and reluctance of investors to utilize foreign courts. International commercial arbitration has the potential and the record for offering commercially flexible solutions between different legal systems. Arbitration is harmonized. Most countries are aware of arbitration and therefore they are quite amenable to be accepted. But apart from that, in order to avoid disputes, there are areas of collaboration and this need attention. There are different legal systems, but at the same time, the countries also have their own distinctive economic and resource advantages. So there are 5 different aspects of practical collaboration, and we will look at each of these in turn. Communication. First of all, policy communication has to be strengthened through the creation and enhancement of multi-level intergovernmental macro policy exchange and communication systems. Second, the facilitation of connectivity towards the end of a connected network of passages spanning across Asia, Europe, and Africa has to be well planned and harmonized with the laws across the jurisdictions. Third, facilitation of trade. Investment and trade barriers have to be removed. Free trade areas need to be created in order to ensure a fertile regional commercial environment. Fourthly, financial integration. There has to be multilateral financial cooperation through the establishment and operation of financing institutions based throughout the countries that are involved. And finally, the promotion of mutual understanding amongst peoples, cultural exchange, expansion of tourism industries, and increased knowledge sharing are some of the ways whereby we can go ahead and foster mutual understanding. In conclusion, we have raised a number of pertinent issues, and I hope that we can take each of these and explore further. Thank you for your kind attention.